Speakers, what happens if you quote your fee and the event client comes back and says, can you do it for less? I think there are three things at our disposal to make sure we win the gig, or at least earn their trust, even if we walk away in the end. Now, thing number one happens before they ever come back and ask you to speak for less than your fee. It's how you quote yourself that matters. That's what starts this. If you simply say, here's my fee to speak, you're on your heels because you say, it's 15K. My fee is 15K. And they come back and say, could you do it for 10? And if you say yes, it's like, why did you quote 15 to start? I guess you pulled it out of thin air or pulled it out of somewhere else. So instead of just quoting a dollar sign relating to one asset, the speech, quote a package. Don't quote a speech, quote a package. And like any service provider, if your prospective client comes back and asks you to do it for less, you might say, sure, no problem, but here's a smaller package. So you give yourself negotiating ability. You give yourself a leg to stand on. You give yourself this signal that you're a professional who's there to serve through more than just the 45 to 60 minutes you're on stage. I'm here to give you a lot of value adds. And oh, by the way, if they come back and say, could you do it for less? No problem. Here's a smaller package for fewer dollars. So that package might include the speech and Q&A time. Absolutely. I express in my package that you get attendance for the day. I want to mill around. I want to be of use to the attendees, to you. You can introduce me to VIPs. If you want, you can have me sit on a panel or MC that panel. I can introduce award winners. I've started to bundle together breakouts about public speaking because people increasingly want to be good speakers. They don't just ask me about my topic from my keynote. They ask me how I got that way because they'd like to be stronger speakers too. Here's a bundled breakout. I can add a smaller dollar figure next to it or just include it in my overall fee. A hype video that I post and the event client can post, the option of an interview of me, and also I could go out to a sponsor's content at the event, not just the event organizer's content. There's all kinds of things you can include in a possible package that you quote up front. I also include all my travel except hotel right in the same fee. I'm signaling I'm easy to work with, one fee for all this stuff. I'm here to serve because look at all this stuff, and I'm going to be there for the full day and meet people and work with you. I am a partner in this event. And if you don't want to see me again, that's fine. You don't have to see me again. But I put forth the best possible front door, the best possible package for that quote. And if they say, could you do it for less? I can decide in that moment, is it worth doing it for less for a smaller package? Do I have to walk away? Do I say, hey, I can't make it work, but here's this wonderful speaker who speaks at that level, and I can refer somebody I admire? All kinds of ways to negotiate, but it starts with whether or not you quote a package or just your talk. Don't quote just a talk. That's avenue one. Avenue two, if they ask you to speak for less, is to consider non-cash compensation. What other ways can you be compensated? Maybe upgrading your travel is enough for you. Maybe getting a box of books distributed around the event. Maybe getting something slipped into the swag bag about your business and other offerings. Maybe another ticket to that event. You want to bring a loved one or a friend. There are other ways to be compensated beyond cash. And now I know that's a luxury for many people. We're trying to get paid to earn a living. I get that. But know that there's other ways you can come back and say, well, if you can't make it work at 15K or 20K or whatever your fee is in cash, what if I did it for 10K and then here's some other value adds that you can provide? Then I would happily speak. So you can work with them in that way, non-cash compensation. That's avenue two. And avenue three is just to consider that there are creative ways to make up the difference. And I think the best way to make up the difference is to ask them if you can find a sponsor or even bring one to the table yourself. So I just booked an international speaking engagement where the dollar figures didn't make sense given that country compared to the US dollar. And so they kind of chuckled at my initial quote. So they were way off in terms of what they were prepared to offer me in cash. And I said, hey, I would love to make this work, but could we go find a sponsor? And they could make up the difference. They could sponsor me, they could sponsor that keynote stage, they could introduce me, all kinds of benefits to the sponsor, sponsoring a keynote and making it happen, right? They are also influential at the event as a result. Within 3 days, the organizer came back and said, good news, we have a sponsor. I owe that sponsor a big thank you still, by the way. If you're watching this, you know who you are. I'm going to give you a big hug out in Denmark. But that's a third avenue you can pursue. either bring a sponsor to the table or tell the client, hey, I'm really interested in making this work, but I can't speak for that amount. To make up the difference, could we find a sponsor? And I can add some value to that sponsor, maybe just at the event, like they introduce me and sponsor the stage. Maybe I talk to them or interview with them afterwards. You can decide what's right for your business and your time. But by asking about a sponsor, you show the client, I'm committed. I want to make this work because I am not just here to fly in, give a speech, and fly out. I am here as a part of the fabric of your event. I'm not just speaking at your event when I'm a keynote. I am part of your event. For 45 minutes, I am the event. You need a ton of trust in me to hire me. Therefore, I am here to signal to you I am trustworthy, I am professional, I am collaborative. I want to make this the best event possible for you, my client, and everything I'm doing pre-contract is another way of signaling that. And so in the end, if you work this way with a prospect, not only do you impress them and improve the experience for their attendees, you increase the odds that you book the gig.